This the people party.
Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note.
Live from the Blue Note. Come on. Peace and love, party people in the place to be. It's BKMC Talib Kweli. You are watching the world's best podcast. Yes, indeed. I am your host. I love what I do. I love my job. We're still here at the Blue Note. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting us. The shows have been amazing. The run has been amazing. And this next guest is super amazing. This next guest is super gangster. This next guest is a super gentleman. And we're going to get right into it. Our guest today is one of my favorite rappers, not one of my favorite human beings alive. He is an MC's MC. He gets shout out from his contemporaries like myself, Pusha T, Royce da 5'9", people like that, like elite barsmen shot this man out. He is a founder of D Block Records. He was a part of Rough Riders, a part of Bad Boy, a member of the legendary crew, the LOX. This man has dropped multiple albums and mixtapes. He is so prolific, you can't stop him. You don't know how many albums he got because there's always a new one coming out. We could go from Gangster and a Gentleman to Time is Money to Super Gangster Master Ceremony, the world's most hardest MC project, Phantom and the Ghost, Ghost in the Machine, Ghosting. There's all types of ghost shit. A lot of ghosting going on. You know what I'm saying? He's done a bunch of mixtape shit. He was ill in the battles. He has a project with Havoc called Wreckage Manor. We gonna get into. He got a project with me. I got a list of all the mixtapes here. I ain't even gonna go through all that. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my brother, SP the Ghost, Pinero, the hardest out. A calm wolf is still a wolf. Holiday Styles in the place to be.
Yes.
Peace and love.
What's up, brother?
Peace and love, brother.
You good?
Good, man. Thank you, thank you,
Good to
thank
see
you, thank
Good to see
you. Styles P in the place to be.
What's good, bro?
We did it. They said we
good?
gonna make it. We made it. We got Styles P. Word
What's
is
good?
born. So I'm gonna start by describing your music the way that your music is described on one of your many projects. It's that K Slay leather music.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace to K Slay. It's that I didn't know they made leather in that size music. That's what the dude say on the intro. He says it's that put your Pele on because the maitre d' said you need a jacket music. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to K Slay, man.
Word.
You and I got so many records together.
Yeah, for sure.
Starting with Buck 'Em Down. We did that on my mixtape. So thank
Yup.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for always
Thank you.
heeding the call.
Thank you.
We got The Level, which my man Beef was talking about. I forgot about this record that we had called The Level. Testify. Then those records we did with Static Selector.
Yeah, we got a bunch.
And that was all before we did the joint
Yeah,
together.
we got a bunch of joints together.
I remember I met you in Los Angeles. I met all three of y'all, Sheik and Jadakiss and you. And I was doing my underground thing and y'all was doing the Bad Boy thing.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, that's the LOX, man. They the hardest out. Like, look at the LOX over there. And I'm thinking about how I'm gonna speak to y'all. And y'all came up to me and spoke first, which was a lesson for me to never be shy and never think that just because the industry tells me that someone's doing something different, that we not the same.
Yeah, we were big fans.
Yes,
Figured
indeed.
we come let you know.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yes,
Shout out
indeed.
to Two Jews, Two Black Dudes, Eric and Jeff. They made that intro too.
A word?
Yeah, that's our podcast. Two
Okay.
Jews, Two Black Dudes.
Yeah.
Review the movies.
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen this. You know a lot about films.
Yeah, I watch films.
Yeah. The 7 tour. I learned so much from you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. We learned from each other.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I called Styles to say, because I had a tour situation. I'm like, but I want to go out with somebody different, not just an opener, but someone who I could go back and forth with. And I'll never forget, he was like, I'll do it with you if we do a project together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What made you make that decision?
I think when it comes to making music, a lot of artists look at themselves as just artists. And I think it's more to look at yourself like a brand and a movement. And as MCs, you should always want to sharpen your skills. And I've been fortunate enough to be in a rare circle when it comes to MCs. As it's not a lot of people who are going to go, I got songs with Talib, Black Thought,
Right.
most, and then I got songs with Rick Ross and stuff. Like, there's a very, very limited amount of MCs who could, I guess, say something like that. So anytime I'm around someone I feel is a great lyricist, I like to spar.
Yeah.
I like to spar. Like, it's like, this is our art. This is our art form. This is what we do. So it's always healthy to be rhyming around someone who who you respect their rhymes and how you respect how they give it up. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my thing.
And it was good. It made the tour a lot more interesting for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to Luch and Jada for jumping on the record with us, and Nico is.
Yeah.
And everybody on the tour. Shout out to Brady, by the way, who's on your newer project, The Death Before Dishonor. You got him
that's
singing
my
out
guy.
here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He sung and produced the track. A lot of people don't know he produced the track also. So
Yeah,
I mean, that was
he
a
produced the
beautiful
track
thing.
for me too. He produced one of my singles too.
He's a bad man.
Brady's in the band tonight. You know what I'm saying?
He's a bad man.
Yes, indeed, man. But yeah, that tour, man. Like, I learned different lifestyle things because you was doing the plant-based. And I heard you say, it's like you said, I'm not vegan, I'm plant-based.
Yeah, I'm plant-based.
You know, vegan, I still wear leather kicks.
I'm not as what I aspire one day to be as great and open-minded as Dick Gregory was.
Yeah, man.
I believe.
Baba.
Yeah, I believe the times we're in though. I aspire to be that one day, but as of the present day, I like to say I'm plant-based because respect to PETA, the Humane Society, and all of those companies that fight for the rights of animals. I do believe in rights for animals, but I also believe that equality has to be amongst human beings first. And
That's right.
It's like people will fight for an animal, and the only difference between me and that person that's fighting for the animal is our skin color. But I have 10 toes, 10 fingers, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth, 1 nose. So do they. Our skin color, ethnicity, background, the DNA is different. But you'll rather fight for the animals. I'm not saying PETA and the Humane Society,
No,
but
I know exactly
a lot
what
of
you're
people
saying.
would rather fight for the animals instead of fighting actually for another human being's equality. So I believe until we have equality amongst human beings, when we get there, then I'm going to aspire to be vegan. Until then, I'm just plant-based. I eat plants. I smoke plants. I believe in plants. And I love animals.
Plant medicine.
I can't, I don't have the privilege to go fight for the bees and dolphins. And I'm not that.
But you have the knowledge.
That advanced,
But you have the knowledge to know that
Yeah.
bees and dolphins got problems going on.
Yeah,
out
very
here.
much.
You know what I'm saying?
And I want to fight for them. I just want to fight for us first.
No, that's real.
Like, you know what I mean? And when I
Right.
feel like if we win the fight, or at least
That's right.
75% in winning the fight, then
Right.
I can advance and aspire to be as great as Dick Gregory and those of his, that are like-minded like him. But I'm not there yet. I can
No
admit
doubt.
that.
But you, on my tour, you had us with the vegan apps, and you know, you had me searching for healthy food on the tour. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm on the tour with Styles, and like we are brothers, but we have different experiences in this business.
Yeah.
So I'm watching you do records that have achieved heights that I've never had a record achieve that heights, and I'm like, what the. Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you, brother. Shout out to Technician, who was on that tour with you.
amazing DJ, the best DJ in the world.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So when I saw the verses, and I've seen you and the LOX tour, because y'all never stopped.
Yeah.
I saw y'all on the road with Griselda.
Yeah.
Right after that, you know what I'm saying? And then if the LOX ain't touring, you go back on the tour with Burner or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I saw what Technician was doing up there.
Yeah.
And what the LOX was doing.
DJ Technician is a showman. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
man.
mean? He's a showman. He turns on, turntables turn on, he turns on, and it gets really, really live. So, it's always like you want to, in this business, you want to surround yourself with people who's going to push you and strive to be better as long as you around.
I know y'all have talked about the verses a lot, but I wanted to, instead of asking you a question about it, just say to you that watching that verses with you and your brothers and how y'all was holding each other down and how people keep talking about, oh, they were so much more prepared. But I know y'all prepared and I know y'all prepped because y'all professionals, but I also know that a lot of that was organic and comes from just being around each other and being on the road together. And I want to say thank you because me as an MC, I felt seen and heard. Because verses is dope. Shout out to Timberland, shout out to Swiss Beats. It's a dope idea. And I'm privileged and blessed to have catalog.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I ever had an opportunity to go versus, I'm good. But there's a lot of MCs who's dope who don't have catalog.
No.
And what the LOX did, and particularly Kiss, was lean into like, fuck the catalog.
Yeah.
Like, if we gonna be in Madison Square Garden, we doing a show.
Yeah.
And if we doing a show, we bring in what we feel like is gonna work for the show. Don't matter whether the audience know this freestyle from this mixtape or whatever. And so to see y'all deliver like that and to challenge, shout out to my brothers Dipset, but to challenge them on playing records with the verses and everything, I'm like, okay, what they doing, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And they putting what I do on the big stage.
Yeah, I
So the
mean-
next time I come through with whatever I do, the LOX made it easier for me to be an MC.
Yeah, you have to please yourself first. I think a lot of MCs get lost in that. A lot of rappers, a lot of artists, period. Like when you make that rhyme, when you first make the rhyme, who are you making a rhyme for?
When you have no fans, when
When you
first
have
start.
no fans, you're making a rhyme for yourself and with hopes of making yourself appear a certain way. So
Yeah.
you should always aim to please yourself first, and then we feel like if you can make yourself happy, then you should be able to make everybody else just sort of just fall in line. Mostly.
Right. No doubt.
Mostly, not everybody, but like
Right.
for the most part, if you have that confidence in yourself, you know, it usually translates.
It's the confidence of knowing.
Yeah.
My pops came from Bed-Stuy. My mom's was from Africa. I'm all nigga if you know what I mean. It's a bar.
Facts.
That's
That's a fact.
That's a fact. That's a perfect stew of hip hop. African, Jamaican, in New York City at a certain time. And you know, you should also say never fight an African. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
agree with that. But you was born in Corona, Queens, right?
Yeah. A lot of people think I'm Jamaican. I'm just South African.
Right.
I'm not Jamaican. My pops was a regular black man.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? My mom's from South Africa. You know what I mean? Born in Cape, raised in Durban, flowed in Joburg. So,
I just came back from there too.
yeah, I think...
You was there. Boogie was
So I'm
there.
ultimately a very black man, to
Yes.
say the least.
Yes.
You know, the pops from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, mom from Africa, you tend to be very black, to say the least.
Y'all ended up in Yonkers, which is called a sixth borough. And what's crazy to me is that this beautiful black American experience
Yeah.
that has shaped you, now you in Yonkers in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And Yonkers was a lot of people don't know was a hotbed for racial tension.
Yeah, very much
like
so.
with the housing situation.
Very much so.
Yonkers schools didn't get integrated till 1988.
Yeah.
That's years after everybody else, bro.
Yeah, very much.
Like imagine that.
88.
88, bro.
Yeah.
This is like 20 years.
Yeah.
Before then, it was like in the early 60s, it was 95% white. I think
Yeah.
back then it was like 4% black. It's more like 15% black now, right?
I think a little higher than
A little
that.
higher, okay.
Yeah.
And now y'all got the keys to the city. How about that?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We've done a lot, though. We worked hard.
Tell me about your relationship with Yonkers and how it's evolved over the years.
My relationship with Yonkers is I love where I'm from. It's made me into the man I am today. But as being an MC and being fortunate enough to actually move out of Yonkers and move in more affluent neighborhoods, I didn't decide to stay in those neighborhoods. We
Right.
kept the studio, our juice bars, and
Right.
just where I dwell in Yonkers. And you always want to see... I think it's easy to forget where you're from once you acquire some sort of fame, because in our mind, it's been stated, once you do something, get out of there. Once you're
Yeah.
successful, get out of there. But I'm a firm believer in building up where you're from. So I've been able to maintain a relationship with the mayor, the police, the firemen, the ambulance, the people of the city. So it's our aim and direction to make it a better place. To make it and remember how it was for me as a youth, and make that, do my best that I can to switch that experience for the other youths coming up behind me. So
Word.
that's basically my relationship with it. Just, I mean, you know me, you know,
Yeah.
you know how I am. Just,
Yeah.
I just try to tell people a better way to eat, better way to drink, and say all the stupid shit I've done and tell them don't do that shit.
Yeah. It's,
Like basically is,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
the bars
go
have-
about it that way.
the bars have elevated. It used to be like, I will, and now it's I used to.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I like the fact that when we work together, like, I got to come to your home base.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. You were not adverse to doing interviews. You've done a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
But a lot of people talk about the career and the drama in this, and I haven't seen a lot of interviews about your backstory, but you talk about your backstory through your music.
Yeah.
So if you pay attention to the music, like, you know your story. Now, is it correct to say that you spent some time in a group home?
Yeah.
Okay, can you talk about that?
When I was 12, just getting into shit, and I got tossed my black ass in a group home, and I think that it happened.
Right.
And it wasn't for too long, a few months out. I mean, it seemed like an eternity back then as a youth, but I think everything that happens to you as a youth molds you in one way or the other, or just plays part to whatever your personality is. And so that experience just made me a little rougher.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe a little more chip on my shoulder, a little rougher, and yeah.
Did you feel like you were indoctrinated, or do you feel like you know, I've heard you also talk about the selling drugs comes from peer pressure more than it came from a specific necessity. Is that accurate?
I sold drugs because I want a good sneaker, so yeah.
Right.
That
Right.
equals back to peer pressure. And
Right.
I think a lot of people don't understand that about the 80s period. Like, I really didn't want to wear Skippies and bullshit sneakers. I wanted good sneakers. And then even seeing the local drug dealers and, you know, the big time ones in their cars, the respect they got. You notice some things as a youth that men with power or money get more opportunities for living a more lavish life, I would say. You don't think about the consequences and all that. All you see is the lavishness. So I think I sold drugs out of just wanting nice shit.
Right.
To be honest with you. It's
But
hard to
that's
say
powerful. That's
something.
a powerful drug.
It's hard to say it's peer. I wouldn't use the words peer pressure anymore. I would say up to date. I would say falling into the program. I don't know what more.
Yeah.
Being a product of
the
your environment.
indoctrination.
Yeah, being a product of your environment.
Thinking that
and
things
falling
and
into
material wealth validate you.
Yeah.
In areas and spaces where we have no validation as
Exactly.
young black people.
Exactly.
Which is why even when we get money, we start wearing, you know, back in the days, we was wearing Coca-Cola splashed across, or, you know,
Yeah.
like the big labels on everything. Back then, you, Sheik, and Jada are fortunate to have been childhood friends.
Yeah.
Right? And y'all had a group that became the Bomb Squad before it was Warlocks. Did you know that the Grateful Dead started as Warlocks?
No, I didn't.
So that's something y'all got in common.
Oh, that's crazy.
You and Jerry Garcia.
That's crazy.
You on the song "Family," Sheik talks about how y'all never argue in public, and this is something that we've seen, something that's been talked about. But I just wanted to give you a chance to give both Jada and Sheik they flowers here on this show.
For me, best group in the world.
No doubt, for a lot of us.
I say just as men, as brothers, like we came in the game with a code, said we was gonna stick to it, and I think our art, our craftsmanship, and even more importantly, our brotherhood was always more important than whatever the game could bring you. Like, so when you understand that, you can't let record labels, whispers, homeboys, girls, money separate what you do. Like, if you love the craft, I love the craft. I love you. You love me. It's we're not gonna always be on agree with everything, but that doesn't. Our ego shouldn't get in the way of what we have. I believe that'll be our biggest legacy when we leave, because most groups don't have that.
Yeah, that's interesting. When you bring up the love for the craft, for you and by your group by extension, that's been a consistent constant that I think has saved y'all in a lot of ways.
Pretty much.
Beyond you doing all these great projects with people like Dave East and myself and Havoc and Burner, all these people that you might do projects with, a lot of it, most of it, all of it is out of the love for the craft. When y'all got into beef with 50 in them, I remember listening to this phone call that you had with 50 over your Koch situation. And you stood your ground, but you also respected the craft. You've talked on many different shows about how violent the situation could have gotten with Beans in them.
Yeah.
But it was always like, we still bump your shit.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Because if you love what you're doing, you love what somebody else does. It's like, same with me and you. We never put ourselves, all right, we do this kind of rap and we don't fuck with that. Nah, if homie could rhyme, he could rhyme. If he could make a great beat, he can make a great beat. And you gotta, if you take your time out doing that every single day, why the fuck wouldn't you honor someone else who's doing the same thing? Like, and I think as musicians, as artists, if that should be first before anything. I mean, in my humble opinion, not saying for everyone, but in my opinion, your love for the craft should come before almost everything.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that kept you grounded in them situations.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot, like, I remember that situation. People felt like someone was going to die with a Rockefeller situation. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Thank God nobody did.
Yeah, thank God.
At those days too were the cowboy days in music. Those were the days where And I think people don't equate times to situations often. Like you hear of a situation and you think of the time you're in, but some people don't go back. Those, besides us having beef, those were the cowboy days. Those were the days where only certain rappers wore big chains everywhere and getting yapped or something was gonna happen to you. Like those were dangerous times. Like though there was no internet. There was no Instagram. There was no Twitter. So if I made my bones and you heard about my bones, you heard it by way of mouth from someone.
That's right.
And that's how word circulated.
We formed our own social networks.
Yeah. So,
but you had to be tapped in.
But you had to be tapped in and you had to know the code to kind of have the information. So different times.
Yeah. 24 Hours to Live, I think, is an underrated classic. You know, rest in peace to DMX, of course. Rest in peace to Black Rob. If you had to do that record over today, how different would your 24 hours be? Because your 24 hours is wild, bro. He said, look, all I need is 5.
It would be much different.
He was like, I'm going to be done in the first 5. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to that effect.
It would be much different. It would be a whole lot different. I would definitely use all 24 hours now. That's for certain. And I would be doing more positive things within those 24 hours. Definitely. I think I've grown and matured a lot since making that original record, you know?
DMX was a superstar in Yonkers before we ever heard of him. Can you tell us, for people who wasn't there, what it was like to see DMX before the world got to know him?
Amazing, I would say. Like, if you're from Yonkers, you was from Westchester, you knew he was a star before he actually...
And that's where my pops grew up in Westchester.
Yeah, before he actually made it. I mean, just as... That energy was the same energy before he made it. So his aggressive style, his wordplay, his grit, and his heart and soul made him just a impeccable MC, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to know him a little bit. One of the last interviews he did was here on this show. And he came to Yellow Springs to rock with us during the pandemic. My man Seth was out there. We didn't have all the setup because it's a pandemic. Yeah. And so we just filmed it on Zoom. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
It was like, and then we went out to Cincinnati to the pool hall. All right. You know what I'm saying? That was like my 3rd time playing pool with X.
Yeah.
But like, that was good times, man.
Great dude.
Yeah, man. Another icon, Mary J. Blige. She brought your demo to Puff.
The reason why we on,
Yeah, man. How did y'all meet Mary? How did that happen?
Well, I knew Mary since I was moved to Yonkers,
just from around
basically.
The way?
No, her and my cousin are close friends.
Okay.
And they lived right on top.
Okay.
Like 3A.
That sounds divine.
3A, 4A.
Right.
So Mary still to this day, Mary calls me Little David.
Okay.
Like, that's why for me, even watching Mary and where she's at and watching X, sometimes it's surreal to where they made it. Like, you know, and how big, and just a testament of what Yonkers is about and, you know, how powerful it is and growing up there. So I've watched Mary rock parks, the regular living room. I mean, the real living room.
Right.
I've seen a whole, you know, just...
That's crazy.
...become who she is, and it's just amazing, like, to be honest with you. And Mary's always been the same Mary since I was a kid, just always very humble, down to earth, cool. And she puts a battery in your back if you ever get to sit there and talk to her in person. She's very confident in what she does. Because to be confident and very humble at the same time is a hard thing to do. That's a very hard balancing act. That means you have to be really talented and you have to have your spirit intact at the same time. So that's amazing.
Yeah, man. I always say there'll be no Mary J. Blige slander anywhere near me.
No, not at all.
Shout out to Notorious B.I.G.
For sure.
You were very blessed and privileged to have been able to spend time with this man in the studio, in his life. Yeah. You know, y'all got to know him. I'm sure you've been asked everything about Big. Is there anything that you feel like is an angle that people haven't explored, or things that people don't know about Big? And shout out to CJ, who came to the show last night as well.
I think it's all been explored or spoken on, but I think just, for me, his class, his level of class and humaneness is incredible. And I always say this because he treated our homeboys how he treated us. And for him to be the biggest star in the world at the particular time, and to have that kind of humbleness with him and the mind state to treat not just me kissing Luch, but our immediate Ace Boon Coons, the same how he treated us was pretty fucking amazing. And just the way he gave us advice, embraced us from the beginning. And I believe he was just one of the most elevated but yet grounded individuals ever.
Yeah, man, we miss him.
Yeah, for sure. Frank White forever. X forever.
No doubt. Shout out to Little Kim, too. She sounded great on that Money, Power, Respect.
Definitely.
What's funny about that record is that on that intro, what Kim is saying, y'all had everybody in the hood sound like philosophers. Like dudes just running out on their girls and all that shit. You know, first you got to get your money, then you got to get there. Everybody sounded like they had some game. Yeah. That was free game.
Yeah, that was.
Y'all changed the game with the Free the LOX campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like a real thing in the streets that you was aware of if you was in. I mean, you know, it's not really a party until someone throws a chair.
You got to understand this. It's like, I feel for them because as an artist, we need to get ours. And I felt bad because they were getting held down like that. You're like prisoners in your own crib. Wow. Crazy.
Yeah, it was different times. You know, sometimes you bring the streets to music, and it took us probably to after that campaign to really figure out how to navigate. But when you're on the streets, and it's like if I sell 10 packs, it's $100, bro.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not the same in the music industry.
No, y'all see big calls.
Then you hear what
Bugs Bunny mathematics.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand like what we had the pretty much standard contract, if not better than the average person's contract. That was pretty much like the go-to kind of contract.
It's standard, like you said.
Standard.
Standard don't mean right, but it means standard.
It was a standard contract, but it didn't resonate right with us. Like, you know what I mean? It just didn't hit the belly right. And plus we were ego and arrogance and being from the street and making street math, trying to add up to business math.
Wow.
All played.
That's a bar right there.
All played part of that. Like, you know what I mean? So there's definitely things we could have done better. But the campaign came out of us understanding that we didn't have the money or the resources to fight the fight how the average person would. So when you don't have that, you got to take your time out and think, how do I go about this battle or this war? How do I approach it? So what we chose to use was the power of the people and the power of our own voice.
As Chappelle says, you're real boss.
Yeah.
That y'all changed the game because y'all let artists know that the power of the people, you could take the power in your own hands.
Definitely.
And I'm glad that we can laugh about these stories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even with Diddy, there's people talk about all these relationships Diddy had and all these artists that he went through, but then it's like I feel like if you start to get your business right, you start to look at those partnerships and be like, okay, you know what, I could refigure and reconfigure that partnership.
Yeah, I think every renegotiation is a word for a reason.
Yeah.
And growing up and being mature are words for a reason. Like life brings you on many different paths, many different journeys. Me as an adult now, I try to look at and not try. I work on not judging people or what they're going through or what's happening for a reason as I'm not the creator, so I don't know their journey.
Yeah.
I've done things on my journey that definitely could be frowned upon. So that leaves me in a position of going, I try to not judge people. I do my best to not judge people and work on like understanding maybe they're going through this particular part or doing some bullshit, whatever it may be, because it's part of their journey. It's part of the lessons they're supposed to learn in life. So nowadays I work on just living my life.
I think you do
like that.
I think you do a great job of that. And I wasn't even going to bring this up because I feel like there was a lot already enough has been said about it. But as we're talking about it, as we're talking about what y'all went through with Diddy, it's reminding me of some of the things that J Hood seems to be thinking he's going through.
Bless him.
Yeah, no doubt.
I bless him on his journey. Bless him on his journey. It really pissed me off because I would have hoped he would have approached it in a different manner. And but God bless everyone on their journey. To be honest with you, like I wish he would have used his time more wisely and done more within that time to where it's more like you complaining, but you never did anything after that. So you should have really appreciated us, was how I was personally feeling like, and just for certain things. But
well, that's
in
one thing.
retrospect, bless him and bless him on his journey. And I try to be mindful now of. I'm working on being more mindful of the energy. See, I'm 180 negative and 180 positive. I don't like to lie to anyone.
Right.
I like to be straight out, flat out.
Right.
I am half and half. But I wake up every day trying to focus on being on a 180 positive. Doesn't work for me every single day of the week.
We know you're
and
not.
I land on a.
We know you're not with the funny shit.
I flop on the other times sometimes, but I really work on doing my best on staying on a 180 positive because the energy you feed into is the energy you'll also distribute out at some point.
That's correct.
Or the other. If you take too much of it in, at some point you gotta give it out. So I'm watching myself on being more mindful, and it just you don't like to be clickbait for anybody.
You are very focused on not doing that. Even with the situation where it went viral, where you helped the young lady who was being arrested by the police.
Yeah.
And for people who have been terrorized and abused by the police as a community for so long, you look like a superhero in that clip to us. You look like this is how black men are supposed to stand up for black women. This is how black men are supposed to stand up for the hood. This is how we're supposed to stand up and address the police. But one thing about you, when I saw it, you and me, I'm so proud of you. And I called you, and I'm like, yo, thank you. And the first thing you said was, I apologize.
Yeah,
and I could have did that better.
I could have did it better.
Which was amazing to me because you was already in self-reflection mode when I was like, yo,
you got to be immediately.
My man was out there doing his thing.
You got to immediately reflect because the youth are watching.
Yes.
The youth are watching. So when you lead by example, you got to say, I'm here stuck leading by example. So was that a great example? And it wasn't. It was passionate. It was for real. I mean, those who know me, like I said, it doesn't take much for me to flop. Then I got to just readjust myself and flop back. So it was more so of
But it does, I think it comes from that trauma of what we've gone through with the police.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a lot of trauma for a black man just to be alive nowadays and just kind of deal with being alive, if you want to be honest. Like it's a load of trauma. But it's also, I feel like in my community and where I stand now as a human being, I work on being more advanced to understand that it's not an old person, white person's trauma, but it is a young white person's trauma. And I say that because of this. It's like a relationship. America is never really looked at like as a relationship. So if you don't address the problem and you just put a Band-Aid on it and it keeps just pushing it to the side, then you have kids, it falls on your kids. And it didn't reflect. So there's a lot of kids now who they love hip hop. They love our culture. They love black people. They love what we do, but their parents never addressed the issue that white America and black America has. They never took the time to sit down with them and explain, like, you've traveled, you went to Germany, you go to Germany, every few blocks you see what happened to the Jews.
That's right.
Posted somewhere, acknowledging what's happened. Whether it's in a good way or a bad way, they're just informing you on what happened.
On the street. It's written on the street.
It's written like on different signs.
Yeah.
You don't see that in America, so it's just a Band-Aid. So now the kid who's coming up in hip-hop who never really paid attention to none of that shit, and then when a cop kills someone and then the tension's back in the air, it's trauma for everyone around. Trauma, we're first on the plate, though. Let's not get it wrong. We are 1A with the star. The big 1A, the big one, and the capital A. But this is America, so who's 1B? And who's thinking about all the mixed babies and all the mixed races and everything's going on? So the trauma has fell back down into everyone's lap because it's never been dealt with. We just deal with it the most, and we have to worry the most because of our skin color. Yeah. Which is crazy. Like, when you got a white homeboy, he got to feel like shit when he's with you and he knows this is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? So we have to, I feel, start dealing with the issues on a more realistic, compassionate, being able to talk about it in real time level. You're right. It's a misconception to think that racism is good for white people. It's not good for nobody. It's not good for the country because white people usually love the country and it's on some go America, go USA shit. Terrible for the country.
I just saw a report where it's like is creating, you know, real PTSD and it's creating real like psychological problems. But you would not one to ever rest on your laurels, and you were not one to ever let the industry stop you or let no other man get in the way of what you did. And your crew either. So y'all came with We Are the Streets. Can I Live is a motivational record.
Yeah.
That's an early motivational hip hop record on Wildin' Out, which I still play at the clubs all the time when I DJ. You say if you're under 21, you shouldn't listen to this.
Yeah.
And that created the song Under 21 with Sean P. and Mac Miller, who we have lost both of them.
Love is love.
You know what I'm saying? So
Love is love.
you saying that lyric made that song.
Yeah. That was my self-parental advisory.
Yeah. That was a good one. Now, Good Times, the Swiss Beats on Gangster and Gentleman.
Yeah.
This became a huge anthem, not just for the city, but for the world, and for the world of cannabis consumers and participants. What's up with this Smokers Olympics?
Can't get my other fellow Olympians to get on the same page, but eventually we will. I think with me is most of the time, if you know me, like, you know, I'm thinking businessman first. So, like, I always looking at the plays, what we could run, how we could have ownership, co-brand, make it work. So, I'll figure it out one day. I'm just too busy also myself to really sit down, buckle down, and make it happen. But I believe I'll be able to do it within a few months.
Okay, word up. Now, at the height of you've had many heights, but at one of your heights, you lost your brother, Gary.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Gary. How did that affect your mental? How hard did it make it for you to be working at that time? Because you was very busy.
Yeah, that was the beginning of my career. It made it very difficult, but all loss has. Like, you know, I've lost a lot during my career, but as you grow, you start understanding that I always look at it when I lose, you know, I've lost a father, I've lost a daughter, I lost a brother, I've lost a best friends, I've lost a shitload of things, but I've gained angels.
Yes.
And I know I'm gonna see them on the other side, so it keeps me level, but it always affects you in multiple ways, to be honest with you. Some days you feel like shit and you miss them, and some days you know you got to feel great because of it, because they're on the other side. They're home. You was born to die. This is an experience, maybe like a flash within a blink of an eye if you believe in eternal life.
That's right.
So you just deal with your human emotions and just kind of keep it pushing. And I say my prayers, meditate, and I smoke.
Yes, I feel you.
And rhyme. I rhyme, you know.
That's the therapy.
That's the therapy right there.
That's why there's so many albums. I want to thank you because I truly appreciate how you and Adjua dealt with, in public, you know, losing your daughter.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people go through that and feel like they're alone in that. Yeah. And what y'all did was very important.
You got to share the pain.
Yeah.
You got to let people know you're in pain, and they ain't the only ones. So that makes it easier for everyone to, like, especially, like, to be honest with you, whatever you're going through, somebody else is going through it, has went through it, or is going to go through it. And then also someone else is going through probably some crazier shit than that. So, you know, at least we got to know where our daughter is. Like, pretty much every few weeks when whether I'm thinking about my daughter or not, like, it hits me like when I walk by Walmart and see the missing shit, that fucks with me for those parents, because like, sometimes you're thankful for the tragedy you have. Right. And sometimes there's as my wife wrote the book, Ethereal Height, there's a privilege and loss because you gain more spirituality. So you just have to discern and figure out what that privilege exactly is and where you're at in life, and just figure out how to move on. Like, I don't know how I would function as a parent who's missing a kid, and I don't know where the kid's at, period. So whatever situation you're in, someone's in a worse situation. There's parents who lost 2, 3, 4, 5 kids at one time. So however you're feeling, and you're entitled to feel however you feel, and you should own it. You should laugh. You should scream. You should yell. You should cry tears of joy, cry tears of pain, do whatever you got to do. But during that time, you can't forget that there's people, even without losing kids, that's going through some shit that's hard and rough. So, you know, with that being said, you just always want to let people know love is love and keep pushing.
I'm glad she wrote that book. Yeah. But just not just writing the book, but the way that y'all live y'all life. I'll be honest with you. The way that y'all live y'all life and let us in a little bit, I really love, and y'all do it in a way that somehow is different than the way the rest of the people do it on social media or even do it with some of these reality shows and stuff like that. With y'all, it doesn't ever feel like just trying to secure the bag. It doesn't ever feel like we just stunting for the gram. It always is very organic. What do you attribute that to?
Love and going through shit together. You can't, you know me, like, so it's like, I've learned how to not give a fuck in a positive way. You know, I was telling my partner, Joe, that on the thing, I used to not give a fuck in a very negative way. I still don't give a fuck, but it's in a positive manner. So
That's bars.
I don't have to, I think, especially for fans, because I'm a fan of hip-hop before I'm an artist. And I'm fortunate enough to be an artist too, but so being on both sides of the coin, I sort of understand that human beings are human beings. Like the average fan and the average human being, especially due to social media, they look at celebrities as they're more than they are.
Yeah.
That motherfucker is not more than you.
Right.
They could have more than you.
Right.
They may even have more talent than you in a certain field. But every human being's talented and everybody is somebody. And to be honest, we're all part of the same energy. Whether you like it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not. My personal belief and opinion. So to live my life for worrying about what other celebrities think, other people think would be kind of not who I am. Now I just do it in a more positive manner to show. And plus, when you do what you do is with anybody, not just even me, anybody in here, anybody watching, anybody receiving it anywhere across the world, I could put up a tweet and an Instagram telling your folks how to save your fucking life. Like I could give you step 1 to 10 how to save your life genuinely, and it be truthful. It's gonna get less likes than me doing some fucking ignorant shit or just saying some other shit. So understanding what people are and what people want should be part of your life, and understanding the energy you're gonna distribute to those people should also be part of your life. So you can't let anybody dictate who you're gonna be. People are able to see through things, like you say, like whether you believe it or not, but if 10 people saw it, 3 people could read through you if you're being phony. Right. Maybe 7 of them won't, but 3 people definitely will be able to. Right. And don't put yourself in that situation where it's like, I have to be that. So it's just kind of not giving a fuck in a positive manner and just pushing forward, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm inspired by it because I'm inspired to smoke skinnier joints. I'm inspired to go on longer walks. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Take more vacations. Now, you were famously locked up while you were famous.
Yeah.
Being locked up is hard enough, but can you describe how it feels to be locked up and famous? Is it harder? Is it easier?
Sucks.
Sucks.
It sucks. The time, every day feels like a month. Every day feels like a month. I think for me personally, almost every situation in fame, it's a positive, but it sucks too, because people somehow, as I was saying earlier, equate fame with that you're less human or humane than them. And that just comes with everyone. Like some people just for some reason, like because you're a celebrity or a person has gotten famous, they do things so much differently than a average person.
Yeah, your success reminds them. It reminds them of what they're not doing, and then they project that.
And then it's an unfair standard to live by. Like I'm not living by anybody else's standards. And I don't give a fuck. Too. It's like I will positively tell you to fuck off. Right. And positive with all due respect, love is love. Fuck off.
I said with all due respect.
You know what I mean. But I think with fame or so-called fame becomes that you should have a standard of. People feel you should have a standard of doing things a certain way without even knowing you. That's some fucking narcissistic shit.
Tell it.
That is very narcissistic to up and assume, because this, like, people always ask me, do you feel enough celebrities are doing enough for the community? Who said that individual is built like that? Right. Who said before he even got to be a celebrity that he gave a fuck about the community or that's on his radar?
And when did the community say we need him?
Yeah. And who am I to tell him that? And did the community, like, exactly. It's
very
the
entitled.
community said this guy should be stepping up and representing.
Yeah, what's his credentials?
Like, it's like, you know, like, people always tell me what I should be doing. What the fuck should you be doing is what you should be worrying about.
Yeah, word up.
Like, you know what I mean?
Word up. Shout out to the mighty D-Block.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad that y'all were able to create your own situation.
Sure.
Gas stations and car washes.
Car washes. If we had a gas station, I might not be here right
Okay,
now.
not gas station.
My own gas, I may
car
not
wash
be
or something. D-Block gas.
Yeah, we have a few different situations. For all up and coming artists and whatever artists are working, if you pay attention, the most successful artist, no matter what you're looking at in today's game, does multiple things. We're at the podcast with Talib Kweli right now.
Multiple things and
Multiple
I got
things.
a show with Bob James and Rakim tonight.
Yeah, so I
You know what
think
I'm
you
saying?
have to look at it like hip hop, rap, whatever the fuck you do is should be a stepping stone. It should be something your craft, what you love, but also use it as a stepping stone to get into other arenas and avenues and businesses that you're interested in, if you're interested in them.
Absolutely. Now, one of my favorite records by you, one of the jewels of your crown, is I'm Black.
Yeah,
Marsha
I almost
Ambrosius.
lost my fucking career over that song.
Yeah, tell me about it, because you almost got blackballed over this.
Definitely.
And thank you as a black man for making that.
Actually, now you remind me, and it's February, I don't believe in Black History Month.
Oh, yeah, I
I
feel
believe
you.
in Black History Lifetime.
Right.
Like, that's my thing, but I might hear it as a bed. There's a bed behind
Right.
a commercial.
I hear Get By
You
a
won't
lot
hear
during
you
Black
won't-
History
you won't-
Month.
I don't hear
I get
I'm
a-
Black during History Month.
That's crazy.
I just hear a bed sometime behind it.
So yeah, tell me about what happened
That
with
song,
that.
I think I did Gangsta and a Gentleman, and I did a county bit. I did 10 months, 10 and a half months. Then coming home, you know, when you're sitting in the county pen, I realized during making rap music and making rap money and making other sorts of money, when you make money, you focus on the money you make and you focus on the lifestyle you're able to live. And sometimes you forget about the journey and the struggle of all the people and what's going on. Then you get reminders of, no matter what the fuck is going on, I'm Black. Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what's funny is that was the only rhyme I ever made in jail. I didn't even.
Wow.
That was the only thing that was on my mind. Like,
Wow.
And not even particularly the lyrics, but just the like, I'm Black. Like, you
It's
know
crazy
what I'm
because I
saying?
think this Kiss got this lyric about you go to jail, now you're growing dreads and reading books.
Yeah. As you should, though.
Yeah, as you should.
As you should. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of us, like what we try to tell people on the streets, a lot of brothers go to jail and better themselves.
Yeah.
People go to jail, start reading, exercising, studying law, finding other crafts, which we should be doing while we're free.
Yeah.
To avoid from being in jail and spread
right.
that word throughout the community.
You revisited that theme with that Black Thought joint.
Yeah.
Because I'm Black too, so I like that joint as well.
Because I'm still Black. I'm still Black.
Yeah. And Ghost in the Shell, 2007, you start plotting your exit, I feel like, from the business. Start build an industry around Styles P around this time. You have a lyric where you say, I feel like for some strange reason my breathing ain't right.
Yeah.
Then we start seeing you talk about juices and Pharmacy for Life. You tell us a little bit about your journey into health and wellness.
As I look back, I've kind of, I guess, been settled on it without even knowing it early. I always tell people my journey is different. Like, at 12, I just stopped eating pork on my own. Shout out my homie Tarek. You know what I mean? I'm from Grosjean. We decided that from Yonkers, we would travel to Brooklyn, go visit Moss. I met Tragedy at the Moss at Brooklyn at 12, way before rap.
Shout out to the Mock.
Yeah. So we would go to the Moss. I stopped eating pork then. I stopped eating beef, I want to say, my first year on Bad Boy. We was on tour. I remember just riding through a land and I was looking out the tour bus and just seeing a bunch of cows kind of herded together. And it was like a mile stretch and far as back as I could see. And just how I seen the cows, it fucked me up and I stopped eating beef since
You are a vegan.
Yeah, since that day. But I still was
Right.
Then when I went to jail, I came out, I stopped eating chicken after Gangsta and a Gentleman. So from like 03 to 13, I was a vegetarian. But I ate every Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving to 13, I got sick. New Year's of 13, decided to go on a 3-week cleanse. Didn't plan to be plant-based, just went on a 3-week cleanse and I never went back. Too much changes came about. I felt better. My eczema left, postnasal sinusitis left, postnasal drip left. I lost weight. but more so than anything, my spirituality felt more intact. My understanding and love for other lives and respect for other lives besides humans.
Yeah.
Just became a little more advanced, which felt pretty good. And gave me more control of the 180. Gave me the insight to know how to work to stay on the positive side a little more.
But you didn't
more.
You didn't just stop with yourself. Like I said on tour, you gave me the knowledge, and you taught me about food deserts, and and you expressed a desire and actualized a desire to put juice and flaxseed oil and sea moss and all these things into the
messengers, man. We all. Man. I'm a messenger at the end of the day. That's how I take it. Like, once you get the information, same thing you're doing with your bars. You get information, you get knowledge, you put them in the bars and give them to the people.
Yeah, no doubt.
Same thing I do. I put them in the bars.
No
all
doubt.
the bars. Juice bars, rap bars, and
You say I used to sell powder in the streets, now serving in the blend in the juice.
It's about being a messenger when you have anything good or any knowledge. And I feel that's what I do that well.
Yes,
I do that well. So I like to continue to do that. And I have a organic care for people, I guess you would say. So it's like, let me do my job.
Yes, indeed.
And at least let me have laid the words out. And so you could take them, you can not take them. I'm not a forceful guy. I think your first 2 years of being vegan, most people plant-based, it's the obnoxious time.
Right.
Like you're like, how dare you eat animals? And you don't know this, you don't know that. I think as you become,
fun to go out to dinner with.
You're more.
The last 2 years.
As you get more advanced, I don't judge what people eat.
That's my vegan joke I used to tell.
I don't judge what people eat. I just try to inform them, and I try to preach balance more so than anything.
How you know if somebody is a vegan?
Tell you.
Don't worry, they'll fucking tell you.
Tell you.
Thank you for making Filthy America. Thank you for making Stupid Questions, because that's a blueprint for journalists.
Yeah.
If you're ever about to interview the LOX, go listen to Stupid Questions. What not to ask, how to ask, you're supposed to ask.
Yeah.
I definitely listen to that.
Yeah, definitely.
You've said that you are retiring as a solo artist.
For sure.
And just working with maybe some features and working with the LOX.
Yeah.
I understand it because I know you.
Yeah.
As we've established through this interview.
Yeah.
But can you tell the people why you've made this decision?
I have a lot more to do. I have a lot more growing to do. I have a lot more advancement to do. There's multiple reasons. And one, like I said, I want to do other shit. Two, I think for my age group and the amount of MCs that I came in with, I think the amount of my catalog should be able to tell you that
Right. You missed some things. Go back and listen to the shit I put out.
I've said enough. I want to go out. I want to go out on my terms, how I want to go out. I write, as you know, I've written one fiction novel. I want to write more. I want to write nonfiction. Shout out to my partner Poobs. I also write screenplays. I write shorts. So
I feel
I'm
like I know
looking at-
Poobs from listening to your music.
Looking to getting into film, and as far as the it's Juices for Life, it's Pharmacy for Life, it's online, it's brick and mortar, and it's just a lot that I want to do, and I want to be able to have the time to do it. And it takes a lot to make solo albums and to consistently be on a certain basis with a certain criteria. You don't get to be. Forget the amount of albums. I don't think people understand. Like, even the average dope MC had a 7 or 8 year run.
Yeah.
The average dope MC, like, and I'm kind of beyond that time now. I've damn near tripled it.
Yeah.
So I want to just be able to, and if you look, besides you and a few others, I probably have the most collaborative albums. So as mixtapes, collaborations, and solos, I feel, let me just do, work with other dope people or the LOX and just call it a day. I don't want to, I got too much shit to do without the date, and it takes away from me, to be honest with you, somewhat. And I also have used it as excuse for my own self-therapy for years. And I have to advance my therapies now, and the way I treat myself and the way I exude and get the pain off and find different ways to do it now. So it's not like I'm fucking retiring. I'm just not gonna be making no more solo albums. I'm not vanishing. You'll still hear me, but I'm just not taking the time out after that. This will be my last solo album. You know, you'll still hear me on the LOX. You'll still get a Beloved too. Maybe you'll get a 7 part 2. Maybe
David means beloved.
Yeah. So you know,
yes.
Just as a solo artist, I think I want to go out on my shield the way I want to go out and call it a fucking day.
I appreciate you saying this, not just for the therapy part, but also because as a fan and as your brother, I thoroughly appreciate and feel blessed from the amount that you've given us so far. I feel like, well, how are we so lucky to get this amount from this man? So I appreciate you.
There's only you and certain people. I always say, like, you know what it is? People pay attention to. How do you say this? I consider myself blue collar hip hop. I'm
working
not,
class. I feel
I'm not mainstream. I'm not an A-list celebrity.
Nah, you are A-list.
You know,
you're an A-list lyricist.
I'm definitely an A-list lyricist. That's a fucking 1,000% fact. That is a fact. That is a fact.
And the same thing. I just wanted to tell you one thing. I know about you through my man Kem. Bobby from Yonkers.
Okay, no doubt, yeah.
He passed away, my brother.
God bless.
So he was an intricate part of the like DJ Shock getting to a lot of stuff.
He was in. I stole a Nas tape from him in high school.
No, hold on.
I stole the Nas. That was my Amari. That's my bro, man. That's our bro. He went to school with us.
Man.
Real hip hop head to the fullest. We used to always. Yeah, I definitely stole his. Definitely for a few weeks. Definitely, I was like, "Oh no, I need this shit."
That was our social network. You had to steal somebody's tape.
Like he had all the hot underground mixtape shits. He had a shit with Nas, Rhyme, and a few other people, and I was like, "Nah, Maury, I need this shit."
Shout out to
Nas. Shit for a
Nas.
few weeks.
Well, I'm gonna give you 5 years before another solo. I know you say this now, but
Nah, I'm not gonna do another solo. I can tell you that now.
Okay.
You better find a
Time will tell.
archives.
You're not gonna Jay-Z?
time will tell. You know, you start getting itchy. You start the
I'm gonna be
pen-
rhyming though. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wasn't crazy and said I'm
Right.
all the way
Right.
retiring. I didn't say that. I just said.
I'm just
from
saying. I
that
know.
part-
I know how that spirit is. I know. We come from the same cloth, brother. So that's when that spirit hit.
Yeah.
Yes, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to write a book. I'm gonna use that spirit.
Okay, word
and
up.
Start.
Plays, movies, books.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like what movie was I watching? It was on Netflix and Andre 3000 was in it. It's recently. It's some shit with the
White Noise.
White Noise.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen White Noise. Apparently
when
that's
I
the
watched-
shit.
Yeah,
Everybody
White Noise
keeps
was
telling me
pretty
about
dope.
this shit.
And I was looking at, you know, I was looking from a fan and an artist standpoint. I was looking like, that's fucking Dre 3000, one of the illest guys to ever pick up a fucking mic ever. And he just managed somehow to say, fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I admire that. Like, even Joe Buttons. Like, I'm like, how did he just say, I'm not rhyming anymore? And they rhyme. Like, and you know, I find myself admiring those people and wanting to be able to have that amount of control over my life. Like, because a lot of people don't know, a lot of MCs are addicted to rhyming.
Yeah.
You can't not, it's like.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I got I'm planning my exit right now.
Yes.
You know, I got Liberation. I got this joint with Bun B. You might get another solo after that, but I'm already thinking in 5 years or so, I'm trying to chill because largely the therapy thing. I want to thank you for that because I ain't never thought about it like that. The music is definitely my therapy, and to put it down for a second and explore new ways is important. So I want to
Very
try
important.
that. But for me, it was always about.
You're attached to this shit. It's like your love. It's like it's an invisible family member.
Yeah,
Like
it's your children.
I feel like you know what I compare it to? Like Bruce Lee with the monster in his head. It's like when you're an MC, you're always challenged. You're your biggest challenge, first and foremost. And then you hear other MCs, then you want to challenge yourself to be better and keep rapping. And how could I keep playing with these words? Because there's nothing new under the sun and there's nothing old under the moon. It's just how the creator is able to create it and put it different where the challenge becomes, and it becomes very much fucking addictive. And especially as like we get in the lab, I'm like, oh shit, we in the lab. It's that same feeling comes about every time you with a different MC of that caliber. And it's like, how the fuck long am I gonna have this feeling and be addicted to it and not be able to conquer it? Like, you know what I mean? And just do certain shit.
It's like you said, it's the knowing that I put blood, sweat, and tears and life into this immaculate catalog. So many records that y'all haven't heard. So many records y'all didn't give a chance to. And it's like, nah, I must chill for a second. Y'all need to catch up.
Yeah, you need to fucking catch up.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I got gas one day. Somebody told me Ghost in the Machine was trending. It wasn't me, though. It was
movie?
SZA.
Oh, okay, that's right. She did do that. Okay.
I was like, about time these motherfuckers caught up. Motherfuckers. I got a whole bunch of other shit they better catch up on. It wasn't about me.
That's right.
I was like, oh shit, let me slow the fuck down and sit down like for a second.
But like you said, we do it for us and we do it for the babies and we do it for the legacy. And all that work you did is going to resonate. Yeah. That body of work is very special, brother.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't think these people know how much music I put out.
I'm your brother and your friend and your fan, and I didn't know.
Yeah, I put out a lot.
Until I interviewed you, I'm like, there's no way
I put out
that I could take in every bar. Because I try to take in every bar before I sit down with somebody.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't take in every bar. Not from every project.
Yeah, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and you gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I can't preach self-help and self-care and not do the same for myself.
That's right.
So I'm gonna still be here. I'm gonna still be barring shit down. I'm just not gonna be fucking taking time out to be 30 joints and picking out of the 30 joints what's gonna be on an album and
artwork,
artwork and
promoting it, making sure people know it's out.
Lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, we are blessed to have you, and we are better for it. Ladies and gentlemen, the People's Party is proud to have the Ghost, Styles P. Yes.
Love is love.